Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. I wanted to talk to you about what the narcissist miss about you. They miss your great fuel. That's number one. Not everybody has that kind of fuel that that primary source has. And a lot of times the narcissist has never ever met a primary source until they met you that put out fuel like that. That never-ending generator that gave them every drop and kept it going. They filled in all the cracks and they picked up all the pieces and they brushed everything off and made them look good. Covered for them. There's some narcissists that have never experienced fuel like yours before. The individual they never ever knew existed out in life with that kind of fuel. Of course, they'll never tell you that because they always beat down the ones they need the most. So the ones they treat the worst, tore up and crushed, then you know that you were of major wealth to them. But that's the only way you'll ever know that you were wanted and needed, because they're backwards from humanity. As soon as you commit to the relationship is when you start to become defunct in their head. And then when you don't want them, then they want you. And it's exactly the opposite. It's the complete unequal yoking. It's because you're dealing with almost two different kingdoms. 104, 105 grade fuel. They've been used to getting that 86, 87 grade fuel. The stuff that's all clunky. When they got you, they were amazed and surprised and dumbfounded. Then they were wondering how long could they get it to last, how much could they squeeze out of you, how many times could they come back. But then they in your head, when you pick them up, you lift them up. When you pick them up and you fix them up, you fuel them up, you give them a shine, you ran them through the car wash, and you got the not the deluxe, the grand car wash. That's what you gave them. Then they come out the car wash. It takes them like 2 seconds to feel like they did it themselves. So they discard you. And they always feel like in their pompous self, they feel like they can just come right back. And they did it several times. So, and with most, they do it until they destroy them out to the streets. Some of you woke up and got out before you got destroyed because you had a couple of these in the past. Started to catch on to these patterns. For some of us, we spent enough time with these fools, even if you were asleep, you start to wake up, because when you have to deal with them on a daily basis, you start to naturally do things that would ward them off or tone the situations down out of survival, giving them indifference. Some of these tactics over time, if you're with one of these individuals and you know nothing about narcissism, then your intuition will start to do these things because you realize everything else doesn't work. That you're dealing with somebody that needs some kind of psychological help, but you don't even have a title for it. But the problem is when you do find a title for it, it does help you to determine, you know, you're not crazy because you've met decent individuals as well and you're well grounded. Usually empathic people are very well grounded. Just like the narcissist is given a lot of credit for things, they're kind of misunderstood, because if people actually dealt with what we dealt with, they wouldn't give them the credit that they give them. But on the flip side of that, we kind of get all these different things. The spell kind of casts you under, related to all this codependency and all these things that they bring up. Yeah, you may have some small issues of that, but what they do is they inflame everything. They take the inflamed state of what the empath looks like, and they put that off in their little textbooks. These psychologists, they don't even know what they're talking about half the time. There's so many people that are, I heard one today, an MD talking about how they're all wrong about narcissism. And they've been wrong for over 100 years, he was saying. So it's all theory, but they like to put us in the textbook like, well, you're such a codependent. Well, how about this? The narcissist is the codependent, and they're crazy. And in their craziness, with the demons inside of them, They know how to push every button and when to push them. Once they get you hooked on the line, they will inflame everything. They take the absolute inflamed position of where the empath would be at its worst and say that's how you normally are on a daily basis. It's not true. Not at all. These psychotherapists, that's why you have so many channels online on YouTube and everywhere else talking about this stuff, because they have been insignificant in their findings and they have done nothing to help society when it comes to narcissism. They're ridiculous. They should be ashamed of themselves. How these psychologists have come up with the bullet that we see. They have done absolutely nothing. Half the time the people in the seats are narcissists. I'll tell you, man. They think they'll have you forever. They think they'll have you wrapped around their finger forever. There's certain types of empaths that wake up and walk away. And then they smear you because what they've done to you is not enough. They have more to give. They got more to destroy. And then they stalk and try to come back again after all that, as if nothing ever happened. Pure garbage. Pure garbage, man. And then a lot of us, we have so much sympathy for them. It's like you want to go down to hell itself and save the devil, when God's telling you, leave them alone. No, God, I got this. I'm going to save the devil. This is what a lot of people say, man. I'm not kidding. This is how you might as well just be putting it. And I'm really not trying to be funny. You hear a lot of craziness about how people want to save them and all this. But I have to say, I've been there too. And I think that happens the first year that you're out from one of those. The problem is you got some people, they will do it forever. And they'll be crippled over it and still continue. I'm going to stand behind them, the devil. I'm going to stand behind the devil. That might as well just then go over there. Because when you got a fixed individual that's a devil, and you're going to pick them up out of a hole while they're pulling you down in it. But they're going to miss your fuel. And they miss your fuel because they built this whole fuel matrix around you. And then you've had enough and you leave. Because you know your value. You didn't understand it or know it the way you should have. You didn't value yourself the way you needed to. But you valued yourself enough to know that you were better than the way they were treating you. And I went oftentimes much lower than I should have, than I even felt comfortable. But when you wake up to this and you back yourself out of it, you realize you're not helping out a good individual. If they had the option to take you out and get away with it and walk away with maybe what you own financially, they would do it. And that to me is very evil. You want to get away from them because they're really worse than you know. These are the types of people that really have the ability to flip. They're running on the lowest vibration, right? So you're talking about they're running on vibrations of the most evil people in the world. But let's just face it. They're running on the lowest vibration, which is a 20 to a 199 on the vibration chart. That's the best they could do. On a chart that runs on a vibration scale all the way up to 1,000, these individuals run from a 20, which is the least, which is shame, all the way to a 199. That's the highest they can go. When you're on that kind of a spectrum or a vibration level, and the spectrum that they run on, it's from bad to worse. In the spectrum, there's not even any goodness at all. It's bad to worse. And when you're dealing with an individual like that on a daily basis, these are the individuals that you see behind bars. So you really gotta not put anything past them, because they deal with witchcraft. They are the embodiment of it. They are fixed. They cannot learn. They cannot be legit. They cannot be authentic. They cannot tell the truth. They're a pure manipulator. They cannot produce fruit of malignancy, of evil in your life. But that's all they can produce. Living with this in your life and in your childhood, and then up through all the years and the struggle that you've been through because of these idiots. It's all nonsense. I mean, it wasn't necessary. Somebody be balanced, right? You want to be able to address the fact that we have to be accountable for our side of things. And so I do like to address that, and that is all true. But at the end of the day, we did not start this thing. We were victims of it, and we all hate that term victim, but the bottom line is that's where we were. There's the victimhood and there's the victim. Those little bastards, man. It's like you can never get any kind of accomplishment, or it's kind of really unfair. I mean, it's unfair when you look at it, it's unfair when you see how people see it. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's hard to accept. And that's why you got to put it in God's hands, because first of all, it is out of your hands. Things that are in your control, abide by. And I understand a year or two, you mess with them while you're waking up. You get abused behind closed doors. You wake up to it. You finally figure out what it is, because the psychologists and the psychotherapists and the counselors and the therapists, right, they're not doing anything in this department to help it. If anything, I feel like that a lot of times they're just coddling the narcissist even more. The best place for a narcissist to show up would be to be a therapist. Because where do you get the best supply? You got broke down, beat up empaths going to get help through a therapist, and then you find out that's where the narcissist is working on the other side of the table. More abuse. And I bet there's a lot of that going on. There's not enough light on that. So where do you go for help? There's nowhere really to go. A lot of times people don't understand narcissism that are therapists, or they're therapists that are narcissists themselves, or they'll side with the narcissist. And then again, you get abused in the therapy session because for whatever reason, either the narcissist won them over or you're dealing with another narcissist. And then the narcissist abuses you behind closed doors. Nobody knows about it. You wake up to it, and that's a blessing. But then, you try to walk away from it, and then they smear your name and put you out there as if you're the abuser. No justice, no peace. So for all y'all that are frustrated, I get that. I get it. You get attacked in other areas of your life with this, because sometimes when the enemy can't get you there, he'll start trying to nail you up by family and friends and all kind of frenemies. And it's like the Mr. Smiths come out of the woodwork in the Matrix. You're getting stalked, flying monkeys. It is really ridiculous. You can't say anything. You're getting smeared, and then you just got to be quiet. It's hard. You got to walk with humility when you're whooped by the narcissist behind closed doors, and you're trying to figure things out. And then when you figure it out, you kind of want to help them. Down the road, they try to help them, and they manipulate that as well. Then they smear you, and you're the bad guy again. Or you go to a therapist to get help, and you could be the bad guy there. Or looked at with indifference as if they don't know anything about it. Or they're siding with the narcissist. So you deal with those types of things. They smear your name, and they got people all around that they built this matrix off with your own fuel. It's ridiculous. And they're coming around, and you don't know who you can befriend and who you can at that point. Because at the very beginning, as you're waking up to this, you don't know how deep it runs, but they do. They've been doing it their whole life. And as you're waking up, you may talk to these flying monkeys, try to understand, and then you find out you're making things only worse for yourself. It's more of a trap. Another trap number 3, trap number 4. But I promise you, they will miss your fuel, and they will not get it back again. They will not get that kind of fuel again. Not to the level that you had. Not to the level that you gave them. No way. You guys don't come around that often. Trying to get that fuel from several different sources, enjoying themselves, but they're really not. They're actually running around trying to find another one of you. And that's what they really liked, but they can't tell you that. And they can't treat you right because they're evil and you're good. So these are things that you just have to understand, that you got to be tough. You are built to be tough. God gave you a mantle, right? And he gave you a mantle, and you have to understand that it's going to be hard. And most people can't carry that. You wish you didn't have to deal with this at all, but this is who you are. This is your destiny. There's nothing that happens in this world by accident, and everything is fair at the end of the day. If God is a good God, then everything is fair at the end of the day. It has to be. When God says he's not a respecter of persons, he is not. And you got to understand that the narcissist does not think like you. They do not believe like you. They do not come from the same level that you come from. They're almost from a different world. So you can never look at things from the same level. You guys are never on the same plateau. You never will be, and you never thought the same. You have to look at it like you were unequally yoked at birth. Period. Trying to understand the narcissist, or trying to think like the way you think and rationalize how could they come up with some of the ways that they think. Some of that you're never going to be able to. Like, how could somebody choose evil when you only know that good is right? These are things that you cannot try to rationalize. And when you're trying to state the narcissist, these are not things you can put into any kind of order that's going to make any sense, because it's impossible, because they are not good. They're not good. Pray for them every day if you want. I personally feel that you should, after all the stuff that they put you through, and all of the trouble that you went through, and all of the things that you find out about the way this pathology is, I believe you should just pray for them one time and let them go. And I don't even know if that prayer will help. It would be probably more a way of letting go on a good note. And they're going to miss a lot of things about you, the way that you accepted them, the way that you covered for them, you made them look good, you exchanged all that fuel with them. A lot of times you didn't question them for a long time. You gave them the benefit of the doubt. You did what is complete and utter justification as far as treating them the best way that you could. A lot of times they went to individuals and put witchcraft on you, although it didn't work. But this is how evil they are. When you were trying to love them, which most people aren't. Most people are transactional with them. Most people are stingy with them. Most people are cheap with them. Abuse them as well. The problem with an abuser is you give them the first opportunity to meet somebody that's kind, and they are abuser mentality. You can't teach them anything. An abuser is somebody who, they may get beat, but the first time they get the opportunity to meet somebody kind and they can beat them, they'll do it. You would think that they would learn something good, but this is how they are. You know what it's like to take a beating, right? So then when you meet somebody kind yourself that treats you right, you're going to beat them down just like you were beat? No, I'm sorry. But the abuser mentality and how you perpetuate being an abuser because you were abused, that's ridiculous. The things they do when you're not around, man. I think if you saw all that firsthand, you would probably feel different. A lot of y'all that have a lot of sympathy for them. If you were a fly on the wall or something, you know, when they were a child, to see how they were not traumatically abused, most of them, or treated any worse than you. And a lot of times you were treated worse than they were. You wouldn't feel the way you do. If you were a fly on the wall when they're out with their other sources of supply, and you could see how pompous they act and spoke about you, or with their flying monkeys, how much they smarted off about you and talked you down, stepped on you spiritually with these individuals, mocked you, laughed at you, told them how much of a fool you were, or I was. You wouldn't feel the same. You wouldn't feel as sympathetic as you probably do right now. And you'd have a much easier time walking away from them. The problem is they are real good about wearing that mask. And I get it. But I also get that no matter how you feel, man, you got to pick it up and keep it moving. Because that individual is nothing but death and destruction to your life. And that's the thing, man. In the end, you're going to be walking around and they're going to know you're the best fuel they ever had, and you left them. And to them, it's going to be feeling cold. It's going to feel cold to them because they always see things in the weirdest ways. But nevertheless, let it be cold, y'all, because they ain't worth your time. That's the thing, man. And you're not completely destroyed. You still got your life. A lot of y'all still have your youth. But nevertheless, if you have time to change this and to build success in your life. And a lot of times you can do it in a very short period of time. If you just plug away, you'll see results quicker than you ever imagine if you really get passionate about it. Really. Because a lot of times there were years and years that you probably wasted time. I mean, I have. You think you're too old and you're sitting on the couch. But when you start to get fire up under you because of something that drives you to become passionate, a lot of times hard times is what drives the empath to become passionate about things, about life, and about a newness. And man, do you see God work in your life and build things in your life, rebuild. I mean, he will do amazing things in your life, man, when you're ready to build with him. and you walk away from all the destroyers. And you commit, instead to the destroyer, but you commit to him. Instead of making covenants with the destroyer, you make a covenant with him. Instead of you consenting to the destroyer, you consent to him. Now, when you put your tool belt on and your hammer and nails, and you go out there, you can build something that's going to last. Build something that's going to bring an investment. Build something that isn't going to be destroyed. Build something that's going to be blessed. It's going to multiply. That's going to plant seeds and it's going to bear fruit. It's going to have a harvest, and it's not going to be stolen out from under you. I'm preaching now. That's where you truly become the wheat. And a lot of times you have to go through the churning, the harshness of life for you to hit that threshing floor to where you know that God's the way, man. Or that you've been, you aren't operating with precision. I mean, you have to take the good out of it. However it could be, it was. Okay, and like I say, the past was meant to be. The past was your destiny, but your future doesn't have to be so rocky. I said that last week, and that's the truth. A lot of times we look back too long. You're going forward with your head like this. I mean, it's like only going to cause more folly up here. And it slows you down. And it gives you muscle spasms too. But, keep it moving, man. All this is dead back here. It's dead. And where you're going to see the narcissist is in the rear view. That's it. And you got to know that that's how it's going to be. It's going to be like that. They're going to stalk you. Who cares? Fine. Stalk me. I have nothing to do with you. I'm not connected to you, and I don't want you. You were there to serve a purpose for me to wake up. You got to look at it like that. So if you can give me a like, subscription, and thumbs up, love you all. Till next time. Peace, we out.